Every fan of football or sports has a moment. It's like a canon moment that you experience when you're watching the game or you're watching whatever sport it is, and you've learned enough of the rules at this point that you can start to really digest things on a deeper level. And after learning all of these rules, you see something. You see an opening. And you dare, maybe in the privacy of your own home, maybe in the company of friends, you dare to ask a question. Why has nobody done this? Because theoretically, it would work. A great example of this is in American football. Oftentimes, when you get close to scoring a touchdown, there's, two big lines of people pushing against each other. It's really hard to push through. And at one point, a head coach who is now actually deceased, rest in peace, Mike Leach, posited the idea of finding a very short student in their college, at their college, football team, snapping the ball, handing it to the short student, picking the student up, and throwing them in over the line. As far as I can tell, there is no rule against this. Right? It is a loophole. If you can find an incredibly tiny student, hand them the ball and throw them over the line, I doubt that there really is any way to stop it. It's daring to ask the question. And that is what a team in the Maldives has done. A loophole that a lot of people in the world of football have probably noticed before. Because so often these days, and in all days, position in a league table is determined by goal difference. Right? If you tie on points, the goal difference determines who goes down. And if you check the league bylaws of every team in the world that's aligned with FIFA, you will see that a forfeit, you lose 3-0. That's the rule. If you forfeit a match, you lose 3-0. It goes down as a 3-0 loss. So what about a situation where if you forfeit, you are guaranteed to finish ahead of another team? Could you then just not show up for the match? I mean, legally in the bylaws, it would make sense. Now, I had thought about this before. I thought about it in the context of a World Cup, for example, where, there's some big goal difference swings, and if we just lose 3-0, we're going to be fine. So then you just forfeit the last match, you don't show up, and, you literally mathematically guarantee that you're going to be okay instead of leaving open the possibility that you lose 4 or 5-0 because you get a red card and an injury, and who the hell knows, right? Well, in the Maldives League, this situation actually happened. This is the table of the Deveshi Premier League. And if you don't know where the Maldives are, give me a second. So this is, the non-New World here. If we go down here, we'll find the Maldives. It's a very tiny group of islands. Well, it's actually quite a large group of islands, but the islands themselves are tiny. Population's about 350,000 people, right? This is not a particularly big country. It's down in the Indian Ocean. The Deveshi Premier League is not a league that maybe most of you guys spend most of your time watching. I do, a lot of drama there. I knew this was, I knew we were due for a really fun final day because the bottom two teams get relegated. So United Victory already in relegation, even though they won their final match, they finished with 11 points out of their 18 matches, and they are being sent down from the top flight of the Maldives League. And then there's Club Valencia in Green Streets. These two teams have not had a very good season. But Club Valencia remarkably manages to beat Club Eagles, a mid-table team up here, 2-0 on the final day. This means that if Green Streets, because apparently these matches were not happening at the same time, this is a fabulous argument for matches happening at the same time. This match happens earlier. Club Valencia beats Club Eagles 2-0. Stunning win that all of a sudden puts Club Valencia in potential position to not get relegated, which is obviously a huge deal for them. They just need Green Streets to lose by 4, and considering this Green Streets team has given up 41 goals in 17 matches, it is possible. Also considering Green Streets is playing New Radiant, who is 3rd in the league and has 37 points. Right, a very, very clear top 3 in this league with New Radiant, Odie, and Mazia, who ended up winning the league unbeaten with 15 wins in 18 matches. So congratulations to Mazia. They don't want to overlook the real heroes of this story, the winners of the league. Green Streets looks at the situation and realizes that if they forfeit the final match, they stay up. And according to the league bylaws, there's really nothing anybody can do. That's the craziest thing about this. Like, this is just the thinking outside the box to the nth degree. There is no allowance for this. And I don't think it's just because we're in the Maldives League here. I think a lot of leagues around the world are going to have to look at their bylaws and their situation and make some tweaks, just kind of behind the scenes, to make sure this sort of thing can't happen to them. Because I think this loophole is available in a lot of competitions, in a lot of leagues. It just happened that in the Maldives League, it fell perfectly. And on the final day, the forfeit guarantees Green Streets stays up. So Green Streets forfeits the match. They forfeit the match to New Radiant. They lose 3-0 and they stay up in the Maldives League. And that has kicked off an absolute uproar. Literally. That's the title in The Guardian. Uproar in the Maldives as, the allegations are flying all over the place. I don't even know why Green Streets is trying to deny it. They are. They're trying to deny that they did what they did. I feel like you just own it at this point. You go, look, we're trying to stay up, and this was something that we were allowed to do to stay up. Under the rules of the FA, any team that fails to play a match, forfeit the game 2-0. That's actually wrong. It's 3-0. Based off multiple other things that I've seen, but you get the general idea. The club sent down in Green Street's stead. Club Valencia have not taken the matter lying down. Having won their final match, Valencia immediately issued a statement accusing their rivals of fixing the outcome of the match and said the behavior was disgusting. The FA of the Maldives responded by placing Green Streets under a transfer ban and fining the club, 2,380 pounds, so 50,000 Maldivian rupiah. It also warned the club about their future conduct, saying if Green Streets repeats their actions, the committee has sent a warning stating they will take even stricter measures against the club. My guess is the reason the FA of the Maldives is only doing this is because, according to the actual laws of the league, I don't think they can do anymore. I really legitimately don't think they can do anymore. I think this is a threat that, like, hey, we're going to change the rules. You're not going to be able to do this again. But seriously, when is the next time you're going to be in this situation? Everything has to happen perfectly for you to be in this situation. And it did. And Green Streets knew the rules. And they applied those rules and managed to stay up. Now, I do just think I think it's particularly heinous that they're trying to defend their behavior. Obviously, Valencia is not happy, so the club believes the decision was made to show favoritism and suggested they would escalate their complaint to the Asian Football Confederation and FIFA. Green Street, this is the denial. It's quite entertaining. Green Street have said they categorically deny any accusations of match fixing and blame an outbreak of diarrhea and flu for calling the game off. The team and management were present at the venue with club officials and several players arriving on time, clearly demonstrating our intention to compete. The club said in a statement, unfortunately, a significant number of our registered players were affected, which directly impacted squad availability on match day. At no point did Green Street act with the intent to forfeit or manipulate the outcome of a match. You did. You will never be able to convince me that you didn't. You're not going to be able to convince anybody else that you didn't. Maybe blatantly admitting that you didn't. The only reason you have to defend this is if you blatantly admit that you didn't have any intention of playing this game and you knew exactly what you were doing, would then all of a sudden, then that would give the league probable cause or something to come in to stop you from doing this. So as long as they don't actually publicly admit what everybody know happened, then they're good. And they get to stay up. Now, obviously, this is horrifyingly disgusting when it comes to the spirit of the game, right? If I was a fan of Club Valencia, I would be over my skis. I would be furious. But this is why you got to play all the matches on the final day at the same time. That's the one big mistake the Maldives made here. I think that the fact they ended up in a position where they could forfeit the final match is a loophole that exists in basically every league you're going to find. They need to play all the final matches at the same time. Maybe there are some limitations in terms of the scheduling and stadium availability, and I don't know, the whole situation in the Maldives that literally prevent that from happening. But if it does, that loophole needs to be patched because Green Street found it. They drove a Mack truck through it. Then sure, if all was right and just with the world, they would say, well, wait a week and then play the match. But you have to play the match. And that would be like a fair ruling. That would be fair to Valencia. But everybody signs all the paperwork to be able to participate in the league before the actual league play starts, right? Like all these clubs and all these lawyers sit down and you sign all this paperwork, and these are the bylaws of the league, and Green Street did technically use those to stay in the league. It's insane that it's actually come to this. And I feel terrible for the players, the fans of Valencia for having to go through this. And they basically ended up on the butt of one of the greatest what ifs in world football. One of the greatest, who would even dare to think it, but yeah, it might be possible situations you could imagine. And they actually had the temerity, the gall to do it. They actually did it. And then they denied that they did it. But Green Street will be playing in the Maldives Premier League next year. Valencia will not. The top flight retains Green Street on a forfeit. I'll tell you what, though, I cannot wait for the next time these two teams play each other. I can't wait. Because this has sparked a generational rivalry that will last until the Maldives eventually slips under the waves.